Hello and welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Sherry Duckworth, and joining me today is Dr. Shelette Stewart. She is the Director of Executive Education at the SMU Cox School of Business. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Stewart.
Oh, thank you, Sherry, for having me. It's an honor and a privilege.
We'd like to start off today by getting just to know a little bit about you and your background and some of your pursuits in education, just to get familiar.
Sure, absolutely. I actually am originally from the Midwest. I was born and raised in Dayton, Ohio, and I grew up hearing the whole mantra, Sherry, of go to school to get a good job. And so that's what I did. I pursued higher education, got my master's, got my doctorate, and most of my professional experience has been serving in leadership roles in sales, marketing, and strategic planning for some wonderful companies like Bell South, which is now again AT&T, and also the Coca-Cola Company. And I'm blessed now to serve in a leadership capacity for Southern Methodist University Cox School of Business.
Which is a wonderful school.
Oh, thank you.
And you have an incredible background and have worked for some great businesses. So I'm sure you have a lot to share with those who come to speak with you and to talk with you because of your experience. So I think it's great. Thank you for coming and sharing it with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this, so it's an honor to share with your viewers and with you.
Thank you. Education, how important is it for someone's passion, something that they love, to be in line with what they're doing in school?
Oh, that is so critical, Sherry. You know, if you think about it, so many reports from Harvard Business School, from SMU, from the Gallup poll report that job and career satisfaction are still quite low, particularly in the United States. And that's because, Sherry, so many individuals are clearly in the wrong vocations. They've pursued education and training and a profession that's not their passion, that's not purpose-driven. And so when that happens, Sherry, it does a disservice for the individual as well as the organization. The individual is miserable, and the organization really is not getting their return on that investment. The individual's not driving performance, productivity, and bottom line profitability for the organization. And so it really is disheartening because if you think about it, we spend more time at work than we do with our loved ones. And our careers consume over half of our lives. So it's imperative that what we spend most of our waking hours doing for most of our lives is spiritually edifying.
I think that's great. What's the old saying? If you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life.
Exactly. It is as if you're being compensated for a hobby, Sherry. And that's the proverbial sweet spot. That's really when you're maximizing your personal fulfillment and professional success.
I think it's great, especially for those who are considering going back to school or going to college right now, and they're thinking about, what do I do?
Absolutely. The key is to focus on what's your passion, because you want to feel as if you are immersed all day long in a hobby. That's the proverbial sweet spot.
That sounds wonderful. It makes me want to go back to school right now.
Come to SMU. Come join us, Sherry.
I'll see you soon.
Right.
Now, for you personally, what has been your experience with this, with being able to do what you love?
Sure. Interestingly enough, during my tenure with the Coca-Cola Company, I was on this fast track program where I was one of 27 individuals brought into the company as part of what they call their bench strength program. So it was an accelerated executive development program. So the company would move me to Los Angeles for a couple of years to learn the business and then back to Atlanta for headquarters. But a funny thing happened. Whenever I would find myself, Sherry, in an assignment for about the 2-year mark, I'd start to get restless. And the way that I dealt with that was by going back to school. I had to get a master's, get a doctorate. So finally, after graduating with a doctorate, I said, what next? And I started feeling this strong desire to write a book to help others connect their business plans with their purpose, their career with their calling, so that what we do in business, we have passion for. And so the desire became so strong, Sherry, that it was just imperative for me to honor it. So I ended up resigning from Coca-Cola after 10 wonderful years to devote myself to writing my book. And so the book is Revelations in Business, Connecting Your Business Plans with God's Purpose and Plan for Your Life. And Dan Cathy, who, as you know, is the president of Chick-fil-A, has endorsed it, and it won a Christian Literary Award last year. And so that charted a whole new course for me. So now I'm in a teaching mode. of really sharing those insights with others, with seasoned executives of Fortune 500 companies, as well as with a new generation, students, high school students, college students, and really sharing with them the importance of connecting their profession with their purpose.
That's such an inspiring testimony. It really
Thank you.
is.
Thank
And
you.
I think it really encourages people to stop looking at it as, okay, how am I going to get a paycheck? How am I going to pay the bills? And more of a, how can I live life successfully and fully enjoying what I do and not just going to just get the paycheck?
Absolutely, Sherry. You know, I always share that we don't have a personal life and a professional life. We have one life.
Right.
And we have to make that life count. So you're absolutely right.
To be able to join both, like you said,
Yes.
that enjoy both is it's that sweet spot to be able to
Right.
find what you love and to do it daily.
Right, exactly. And in our society, particularly in the United States, we tend to live our lives in silos, with our personal lives and hobbies in one silo, and then our careers, our educational endeavors, and our professional ventures in another. And the two really should be intertwined.
What would you say is the first step to being able to make that connection?
You know, as I travel the country and share with Fortune 500 companies and colleges and universities and even professional business organizations, I always share that the first step and the most critical step, Sherry, is to begin from within. To really be proactive, be intentional, pray, contemplate, meditate, and ask yourself, what's my purpose? What's my calling? Why am I here? What am I here to contribute? So begin from within. And a way to really uncover your purpose, I always share with others, is by looking at your areas of gifting. Your natural gifts, your skill sets, your talents, your abilities. Oftentimes those are indicators of your purpose. And think about, what is it that you're always getting complimented on that you do quite naturally, almost effortlessly? That's an area of gifting for you. And also pay attention to your interests and your hobbies. What is it that when you're immersed in, time just seems to fly? Or what's that topic that really gets you riled up in a positive way, makes you want to go out and do something about whatever the social ill is? For some of us, it's homelessness or hunger or domestic violence or child abuse or cancer. What is that? Oftentimes, those are indicators and connections to your purpose. So the first step is to begin from within.
It makes me think of something I heard someone say, whatever it is that wrecks you on the
Yes.
inside, you just
Yes.
you
I
have
love
to
that.
do something about it.
Yes.
Pursue
That's it.
that.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's it. That is it.
You
It's
know.
that burning passion and that fire too. Yes, don't ignore that.
Don't
so
ignore
true.
that. That's really good. That's really good. Critical steps. Someone who is right now looking at that and going, okay, I think I found what it is.
Yes.
This is it right here. This is, like I said, it wrecks me, or it makes me excited. It drives me to want to do that more. What should they do with that now that they have that in front of them?
Oh, the next critical step is, once you have an idea of your passion, your purpose, your calling, is to execute, implement. And quite unfortunately, so many people get hung up on this step. They get overwhelmed with the daily activities and responsibilities of life. But I would encourage the viewers to commit every day to taking incremental steps, to walking in your purpose, to connecting your profession with your passion and your calling too. So incremental baby steps. So what that means is, apply for the business school, apply for the internship, write the book, write the song, start the ministry. Take incremental steps. So execute, implement is so critical.
I think that's good to take the little steps, because
Yes.
it's so overwhelming when you have figured out, this is what I want to do, this is my purpose, and this is the big picture.
Yes.
And you just feel like, oh gosh, how am I going to swallow this big
Right.
pill all at one
Right.
time? And instead, if you just kind of break it down into little
Exactly.
pieces.
Into manageable steps too. It won't seem as overwhelming too. And believe it or not, before you know it, you have accomplished something that's substantial and significant too. But the key is to be very intentional, be very strategic and organized about committing to those incremental steps.
So make it like another job.
Yes, absolutely. And carve out time for it.
Carve out
Whether
time.
it's very early in the morning before the rest of the household has awakened, or even late at night after everyone is asleep, or on the weekends. Carve out time, because that's you. That's your livelihood. That's your life.
Being passionate about writing, I'm sure it's something that I've heard other writers talk about, how they have to do the same thing. They have to treat it like a job.
Yes.
They have to get up. They have to schedule out the time.
Absolutely.
To get it done. So whatever it is,
Right.
whether it's writing or some other area of
Sure.
interest, Doing that is so important.
Exactly, because when you do that, Sherry, as you know, you honor yourself and you honor that endeavor too, and that's so critical. And you do have to give it the time, and that's what I did. I looked at my writing as a job too, and it was joyful. And that's the key. When you're focused on something that you're passionate about, it doesn't seem arduous in any way.
Right.
It's a joy. You really enjoy it.
How do you face distraction? How do you meet the challenges of daily life that sneaks in sometimes and wants to interrupt the flow of what you're trying to do?
A couple of ways. The first is, one, staying very organized. To your earlier point, make sure that you commit time on your calendar, on your schedule, and treat it as a job, and also honor it, because it's a part of you and your purpose and your legacy. And another point is to really take it to a higher level of perspective, too. If we think about it, you know, in the Western world, and particularly in the United States, we're so focused on me, myself, and I. But I encourage the viewers to think about your legacy. Think about leaving a positive, lasting legacy. So if that's your desire, then you must commit to whatever the endeavor is and take it seriously, because really your legacy is at stake. So if we think about it from that perspective, though, it makes the whole endeavor even more meaningful.
It really does, especially for those of us who are parents and we have
Yes.
children looking to us going,
Exactly.
well, what did you do?
Yes, and then your role models for your children, they're watching you too. And so if they see that passion and that level of commitment and that spirit of excellence, Sherry, then oftentimes they will emulate that. And again, the legacy goes on.
How do you encourage those who maybe didn't have that as an example in their lives? And so it does look overwhelming, or it looks like, well, that's not for me, that's for little Sue who lives down the street and her parents
Sure.
did that. And it's easier for her because she had the example. I didn't have that. It's harder.
Sure.
I don't get it. You know, I haven't seen it played out in my life.
That's an excellent question.
What in words of encouragement do you give that particular child today or student today?
Sure. A couple of insights. Number one, if you did not have those role models in your life per se, then look to other role models. The role model may be someone that you're reading about in a biography. It may be someone with a positive legacy that you watch about in the movies. It may be someone in your school. It may be a teacher, it may be a principal. It may be a friend. So look to others who are exhibiting and exemplifying a spirit of excellence and begin to emulate that. So take advantage of the other wise mentors and counselors around you, and then read. I always encourage young people in particular to make sure that you're opening up and you're broadening your horizons in terms of reading about others who may have long passed, but they were pioneers. And so, particularly in areas that you're interested in. So look to other mentors, other role models, and definitely immerse yourself in reading.
I love that because I love to read.
Me too.
So I'm
That's
just like,
my outlet.
That makes me want to go get a book
Yes,
right now.
that's me too. Exactly. All the bookstores and love that. Love that.
Yes, that's wonderful.
It's
I love
important.
that. It is. So,
It is.
you know, it's not difficult things. You know, have somebody that you admire, a mentor, somebody you can look to, find a good book that inspires your
Absolutely.
passion and your purpose to keep you driven and going.
Absolutely. And you know, Sherry, so much now is on the internet that is quite positive. And so oftentimes with the new generation, they're so technologically savvy. Look on the internet and Google what you're interested in. Google that topic and you'd be surprised how many edifying, informative, inspiring, empowering stories are out there, even online, that you have access to.
And of course, they can always talk to their school counselors,
Yes.
the college counselors who are available
Absolutely.
to advise them and to lead them in the direction they need to go in order to pursue their passion as their career.
Absolutely. And I would encourage the viewers not to be afraid to reach out to people. The school counselors, the teachers, the principals, they're right there in your community and they would love to help you too. So feel free to reach out. Even think of pastors and ministers as well.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Stewart, for coming today.
Oh, thank you, Sherry, for having me. And congratulations on the excellent platform you have in place. It truly is informative and inspiring.
Thank you so much. And thank you all today for watching Joy in Our Town.
Okay, everyone, let's get started.